The views and opinions expressed on this podcast, including discussions on news, politics, and current events, are solely those of the host and guests and are based on personal thoughts, experiences, and opinions. Nothing stated should be considered factual unless independently verified by the listener. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide financial, legal, medical, political, or life advice. Any actions discussed are what we would do personally, not recommendations for others. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult qualified professionals before making any decisions.
Yes, you got that too. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the MPL4 podcast. I am your host, Leon, and I made a mistake. This is the Ford Social Conversation podcast where we talk about anything and everything, but not everything, because everything don't need to be talked about. What's going on, y'all?
I can't believe you said that.
What? Who? What? KP?
I'm two different people.
Oh, you are two different people.
Renee, you are two different people. The viewers don't know what we just experienced before the record button was pressed. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
What?
Man, they don't know.
No, I'm three different people.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe
you know
that
when
too.
I'm at work, it's different.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Two different damn people.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? Look. We were talking behind the scenes before we hopped on. That's what we're chatting about. But once again, this is Ford Social Conversations, part of the MPL Ford network. So we're here, and we're going to be talking about y'all president, Mr. Donald Trump. He was asking for help. Now he says that he don't need help, and he said that because everybody turned him down.
That's typical of this dude, man. Is he turns everything into it's about him and he making the decisions. No different than Kwame Kilpatrick denouncing his deny. They've been denounced you 9 years ago, bro. They denounce you, and so it's no wonder he is a Trump supporter. I know he wasn't on the docket to talk about, but I'm saying those narcissists, they have that same mind frame. Whereas, well, I'm gonna get you before you get me, and if you get me before I get you, then I'm a twist this story to make it look like I made the decision to part ways or not accept your help, and that's what your boy Trump is doing, man. He just, like I put in the chat, all these people were talking, America first, and I told you guys, I say they keep touting that America first is going to be America alone.
We kind of are now, if you think.
No, not we, they.
That is very true. So I recall seeing something where I guess he asked the UK Prime Minister for help with the war. And the Prime Minister came back and said, I need to speak to the other leaders and, and get their opinion, and I'll get back to you. He got upset saying he doesn't need to talk to anybody. He should be able to make his own decisions. Now, to me, that's what got us in this position in the first place, because he decided to go to war and didn't discuss it with anybody else. And now you're upset because you asked him for help for something that you decided to do. And he has the, I would say, wherewithal to say, hey, I don't want to jump in and make a decision. I don't want no smoke with Iran. It's going to cost, bodies and, death tolls and all these other things, structural, issues, all the things. I'm not going to make a sudden decision right now. That's wild. So he went on a whole rampage about him and said that, he's not a real leader and all this other, he went on a whole tangent about it.
Yeah, he tried to lambaste the man about having to go talk to other people that he can't just make decisions by himself.
Right.
But when you are have already formed this kleptocracy that we run. He thinks he's a king. He thinks this is a monarch. And so that's how Trump thinks. Like, I don't need to consult with nobody. That's king thinking. That's that monarchy. And that's why, we're in these, the United States is in the situation that they're in now. All of them have said we're not, from Canada to Japan. He even asked China this month. He asked China.
Crazy, and he put tariffs on all of these countries, and then gonna turn around and ask them for help and get mad because they rejected his. Listen, if all of those countries wanted to go to war, they know what Iran has, and if all those countries wanted to go to war with Iran, they would have been, if they had beef, they would have been done it.
None of those countries,
they know what Iran has. That's why Iran been, they say you shouldn't watch American news because you're not going to get the real. You should watch the news overseas because they're going to tell you the truth as to what's really going on. And they've been talking crazy to Trump this whole time. And now he wants everybody's help.
Well, he started
he's in a bunker, and we just, in America with, bullseye on us, and he's underground in a bunker talking crazy.
So look, I was looking at a podcast. I forgot which one it was. They had this guy on there, and he said that I'm pretty sure y'all have heard of the officials over there in Iran saying that they was talking to Trump, going back and forth about agreement, I guess. What's the word? Not agreement, but anyway. Then they said the U.S. bombed them, Trump bombed them, but the guy said that Israel, during the talks, the agreements, Israel is the one who bombed Iran, but Trump, I guess back when Obama and Biden was running things, and I guess they kind of put their foot down with Israel. Okay, if you bomb Iran, this is going to happen. We're going to step away or whatever. But they said this time Israel did it while Trump is in office, and Trump just kind of backed them. That's what he was saying that I'm really happened.
No one's wanted smoke with Iran since Bush started that mess.
I don't know.
That's where it's been. Nobody's.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I ain't been into politics.
We don't want smoke with him. That's on him. Listen, find the bunker, people. Find the bunker.
But Trump, one thing Trump never. I haven't heard anything of him saying that. Of course, he's not gonna say it because he want to feel like he's the guy. I didn't hear anything of him saying that Israel was the one who actually started the bombing. I haven't heard that yet. But this,
I'm sure it was a mutual decision. I'm sure they had a phone call probably. And they were just like, Israel's probably saying, I'm gonna do it first and you back us after. But to me, why would you bomb a country and need another country to help you? Like, if you gonna stand on business, do it on your own.
Yeah. It seems like he said initially that he didn't need the help, and then he started asking for help when everybody turned him down. Now he's saying he do need the help. He's asking.
Because nobody won't smoke with Iran.
Yeah.
Listen.
They got people already over here that's willing to ride for Iran. So, yeah, no.
This conflict or war is multifaceted. Obviously, is not real. They did bomb these people, and the U.S. Knew that they would do it, and they systematically joined in with bombing them.
Okay, so you did hear that too, KB?
Yeah, well, that's what happened.
I heard it too.
Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Jared Kushner, who does not have a seat does not have a principal seat in the White House, is some kind of way special envoy to Iran. So apparently, Jared Kushner and I'm gonna probably get this wrong. I think it's Steve Witkoff. One of them two went over there to negotiate. And
why would they say Jared Kushner? He can't even negotiate good deals in his apartment complexes in New York. But that's a whole nother story for a different day.
And then right, and so he and that's when it actually started. So Benjamin Netanyahu has been asking the U.S. for 40 years to get involved in this conflict, and none of the presidents would do it. Trump is the only one stupid enough to do it, and once Benjamin Netanyahu found his pawn to do it, which was Trump, that's why they went forward with what they're doing. The other countries don't want to join in because actually none of these countries have beef with Iran. None of them do. Now, do all of them have a problem with nuclear proliferation, meaning that Iran getting a nuclear bomb? Yeah, they have a concern about it, but Pakistan has one, a lot. India has a lot of these countries around it do have it, and definitely North Korea has it as well, along with a lot of surrounding countries. But they're not going to get involved for two reasons. Number one, Trump puts out this thing about NATO and how they asked NATO to get involved, and NATO is not they're not an aggressive. It wasn't formed to be an aggressor to go and pick fights. NATO is, you pay into NATO to get the protection of an alliance. If you are attacked, well, the U.S. is not attacked, and Israel's not part of the NATO. So it's like they're asking NATO to get involved when actually the only country that was attacked was Iran. So if Iran was part of NATO, then it would make sense that NATO would get involved to help protect a NATO country. So other NATO countries are not going to get involved because they only get involved when you are part of the NATO and you are attacked. So that's why the NATO alliances, they like, no, we're not helping you do this. Trump has spent all his time alienating all the U.S. allies since he got in office, talking shit to them, doing this, and then imposing tariffs. He imposed tariffs. He's asking Canada, and the Prime Minister of Canada say, oh, no way, we're not getting involved in this. No way, no how. And we'll just do trade with everybody else. And so that's what a lot of countries have been doing. And so, remember
the Gulf of America? He didn't want them to use, to bring oil. And I think China came in and they surveyed it out and was like, well, we don't have to go through your Gulf of America. We'll buy another part of the water and we'll go the other way.
They are exactly doing that. And that's with everything, all these countries that Trump been picking on, from Argentina and all these people that he's imposing these tariffs on, instead of doing business with us, they're doing business with each other, which therefore weakening the trade of America, because America is an exporter. Importer. We're one of the biggest importers because we don't make anything over here. So we're the biggest buyer of goods. There's very few things that we export, soybean being one. But Trump picked such a fight with China. China was buying about 70% of our soy, and they relied on that. And then China was like, okay, since you want to talk big shit, all right, well, we'll do it this way. They started getting their soy from Brazil and the different countries. They were like, it's more than one way to skin a cat. So that started the downfall of all of this. And Trump instead of picking with these allies, and then he's talking crap about just taking Greenland. Just the other day, he's talking about Cuba, and he was like, I don't know, I might just take it, And so he said that because they're a weakened country and they need, here they go with that regime change thing. And so, of course, none of these countries are going to join in because they know it is wrong. And how you know it's wrong? Because we talked about earlier off camera with Joe Kent, his intelligence agency guy, turned in his resignation and said, that's it. And there you go. You see, Trump says he can do anything. I want Cuba.
Well, Cuba's having issues right now. They just had a major power outage.
Yeah, China and Russia are not going to allow them to fail.
And throughout all of Cuba, they have zero power right now.
Let me play this real quick.
Having the honor of taking Cuba. That's a big honor. Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders. Castro was a very violent leader. His brothers are very violent leaders. Extremely violent. That's how they governed. They governed with violence. But a lot of people would like to go back.
They want to go back. Didn't Obama take care of? There was a whole issue where
the embargo.
Yeah.
He lifted the embargo for travel, but people still going to Cuba. They'll just go to Canada and go to Cuba. So it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm just saying to help with their, the tourism and put money back into Cuba. There was a whole relationship built.
Obama lifted the embargo so that you can travel in between from the U.S. to Cuba. But as soon as Trump got in 2020, he killed it. So, it's amazing. It's amazing that these people here can call other regimes violent when Cuba hasn't attacked anybody. They hadn't talked about taking over anybody. They hadn't done anything. What the U.S. does is violent. And I can list a whole laundry list of all the violent stuff that is done here.
Right.
You just murdered civilians in Minnesota and there's no retribution for that. That's violent. And you're just spreading the seed of violence throughout this country, but you want to call somebody else violent. That's why I've been stopped taking the leadership or the leadership within this country serious, because, man, they're hypocrites. And it don't get it, it's not going to get any better because, because power concedes nothing without power until someone else with power comes in. What if a country come and do a regime change over here?
Right.
How are they going to feel? Will Americans stand up and fight against them? Will we just let it happen? I mean, what happens? Because just like
the number to the White House.
He's at 1600 Pennsylvania. And
the bunker in Maryland. And what is that? Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, Guantanamo. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All of the things. They could have all
that's
that.
in Guam. So yeah, I just, it's America. They've been touting this America first, and now they're saying it's America alone. And this is just the second pillar of the things of hope. First, countries start doing trade with each other because of these tariffs. And now to prosecute a war against Iran, you're going to need your allies, because this is not Iraq.
No.
These people are this is a different country. This is a martyr type country, meaning they die for their country.
Yes.
They are martyred for that. So they're willing to sign up and do it.
And they're here. That's the thing. A lot of them are here in the United States.
And they've been preparing, because the U.S., especially once Trump got in, they tore up that agreement that Obama had where they allowed them to stop. They allowed them to continue to enrich uranium for energy purposes, not for.
So that's what I'm doing now. What you just said, and I'm looking it up. It seemed like he already had a plan.
We had a good plan that they agreed to. They agreed to. Now, here's the deal: the U.S. are treaty breakers. That's what they do. They renege on everything that they did. They even broke over 300 treaties just with the Native Americans here. They will break a treaty in a minute because of how they are. We've had this experience with them. We know who they are. But we had a deal in place with Iran, and as soon as Trump got in office, he tore it up and put nothing in place.
Nothing. His concepts of a plan.
And then you're going to need your other allies to prosecute this type of war, because they are far more advanced than the other countries that the U.S. have invaded. There's this guy that's for Iran. His first name is Ibrahim, ironically, like Ibrahim Touré, but it's Ibrahim, and he does like this press conference every day, giving updates of what's happening with the war and stuff like that. And I think one of the hosts that was questioning him, they said, "Hey, the U.S. is gearing to send 2,500 to 5,000 troops for a land invasion." And they asked him, "Well, how do you feel about that?" And this man said, "We're ready for them." Just like that.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
We've been waiting. He said, "We've been waiting."
He said, "We've been waiting." You don't mess with that type of person. With
a smirk on his face.
With a smirk on his face. Like, yeah, come on. It's no different than when in Vietnam, when he got there. A lot of people don't tell the story, man. Those Ho Chi Minh trails, them Viet Cong people was whooping the shit out of us, man. Because they knew their land, and they wasn't just going to give up like that. If it wasn't for them dropping those two bombs on them people still be fighting.
I feel like he gonna go over there and steal them people in Haiti and Cuba and force them to join. My thoughts. I could be wrong. But
I mean, I don't put anything past them. Because they'll do that and then call it pacification. And so they do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't put anything past them. I just think that this is going to get worse. Trump never finishes anything. He starts stuff. He's like a little toddler. He'll play with it. I'm tired of playing with it. And you can't just keep doing that, especially with a war like this, because Iran was ready. As soon as they started, as soon as the attack happened, Iran attacked 17, 18 other countries. And everybody was like, well, why would they attack those other 17, 18 countries? Because it's like you and your homeboy getting into it with somebody, and he knows where your people be, and he knows that you're possibly going to be there. He's just going to attack all of them. And so they was like, well, why is he attacking the UAE? Why is he attacking Dubai? Why is he attacking Qatar and all that? Because they have all U.S. bases there.
Right.
And the first thing they did was knock out that radar capabilities over there in Qatar. And U.S. spent up close to $1 trillion on that system, and they knocked that out the first day. Because if you can do that, because a lot of people was talking to me, they was like, well, how are these bombs getting in if we have these Iron Dome type of missiles or these intercepting missiles? And they're like, how are they getting through? I said, because the U.S. is flying blind in the region right now because they knocked out the satellite system. So that's why a lot of these bombs are getting through, And then they're doing low-grade bombs. And where the U.S. is spending $1 million or $1 billion per bomb, they're spending $30,000 per drone. Because they're just sending out these little $30,000 kamikaze drones. And these drones are getting through, and they're blowing up stuff. And so there's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of implications. I mean, there's stories about, because, they bombing a mess out of Dubai. Mm-hmm. Dubai may not be Dubai anymore because they're constantly under siren attack for the bombs. And then they're going to try to make it ruins before it's over.
So do you think for someone like Renee, you think travel is safe in the air? Going cross country?
I wouldn't say in those areas. I wouldn't go nowhere near it. I wouldn't go nowhere in that area, that region. I just traveling overseas, other than go to the continent of Africa. That's about it.
Yeah,
because they ain't got nothing to do with it. I can tell you what is happening as a result of this war. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, they are supporting the genocide that's going on in Sudan. And because Arabs, they always trying to, they already got Morocco, they got a lot of the west part of Africa, and they're trying to get Sudan. And so they've been in a hellish fight with Sudan and with the RSF. Well, because United Arab is getting their asses bombed, they can no longer send the materials or the military might that they've been sending to the RSF that are in Sudan. And so now that's being choked off. And as a result, the natives in Sudan are getting the upper hand. They're full on site because they're no longer, the RSF is no longer getting all these supplies from the UAE. Mm-hmm. So this is actually a good thing that's happening because they're getting bombed by Iran. Mm-hmm. So they stopped a lot of their resources, shipping their resources to the Sudan to help with that genocide. And so now the people of Sudan are getting the upper hand now because that RSF, which is the rebel fighting group that is there, they're no longer getting that funding from the UAE. So this is very interesting things that are happening.
The whole thing is there's a domino effect to all of this. And it's like we got ourselves in trouble, but didn't do anything.
Well, they never.
I mean, I'm talking about us regular people. We
don't have it. Yeah. You're right. Because you have a lot of incompetent people that are in it. You have to understand what Trump learned from his first presidency. All those things that was coming out of the White House, he kept calling it fake news. When you would hear different people like Mark Milley and all these other people, John Bolton, it was like, this man is crazy. He wanted to nuke. We heard the story that, well, why can't we just nuke the hurricane? It's like, man, and And we thought those were crazy ideas, and we thinking it's fake news. Come to find out, none of all that is real. So what he learned was he had to get rid of these generals, these high-ranking officials, these inspector generals, these special envoys to the Middle East. He got rid of all those people. And then he put in these podcast people, Cash Patel, and these weekend Fox hosts being the Secretary of Defense, which is now Secretary of War. Pete, his own mama says he's trash Hexel. That's who's making these decisions.
Where's Condoleezza Rice?
She showed at the White House. Was it 2 weeks ago?
We ain't seen her since. Where's she at?
You know who the world has not seen?
He sent her over there where what's the guy from Georgia? We still ain't seen.
Herschel Walker.
she over there. He didn't send her over there with Herschel Walker.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
We ain't seen her since. We seen her walking in. We ain't seen her walk out. Where's she at?
We don't know, but I do know this. If she decides to help them, she won't be there long. Because she won't be there long, and it won't be.
He's not going to listen to her.
She's not going to listen. She's going to walk out, and then she's going to be a low grade, low IQ. She's going to be all the things that he's, Yeah, but when you asked for her help, she was everything. Now she's nothing. There's no different than we talked about Joe Kent, the guy that walked away. He was like, "Man, I'm not. No, Trump, y'all crazy."
Yeah,
and he was like, "Well, it's good. He's gone. He was not very good. He wasn't. What you hired him."
I was watching that. Man, I was watching that downstairs. I'm like, he gonna say, "Well, I don't think he was that good anyway." I'm like,
"You hired him. You hired him.
Now you want to say that?
You hired him into the intelligence agency,
right?
And now he's not good because he don't want to do what you asked him to do."
You know what else I saw that was crazy? Well, not necessarily crazy. 35 Republican Congress people have decided to step down, and they are not going to run again. They're over it. Well, 35.
If there is
why? Because they're probably going to jail. And
a lot of them are going to jail.
It said Ken is the highest ranking Trump administration official to quit in opposition to the conflict.
He gonna write a book.
He is also known for his support.
He don't want to go to jail.
He don't want to go to jail, and he wants to write a book. He gonna tell all the business since Trump said he wasn't that great. Probably said he was low IQ. That's gonna be a good book.
I'm waiting to hear.
They all write a little book.
I'm waiting to hear his first interview.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what, his as they say in the article, his resignation comes as a surprise. You know, he's one of the top ranking officials. And so they just thought that he would go along and get along. At some point, some people got to see that the wheels is going to come off on this thing. And this thing could not sustain itself when you have administration that's subverting the law. At some point in a democracy, the wheels will come off. We hope sooner rather than later. But we cannot continue at this pace and continue as a country to continue to grow and prosper. It just cannot happen.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a nice guy, but he was also weak on security.
Yeah. Just I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran, Mr. Kent. And Mr. Kent, the director of National Counterterrorism Center, wrote in a letter to Mr. Trump. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby.
Yep, AIPAC.
Yeah. What was you reading, Renee?
Right there where Trump, his response, right there. Go back up.
Right here.
Me say I thought he was a nice guy.
I always thought he was a nice guy.
So you hired him because he was a nice guy, well, knowing that he was weak on security. Again, this is what he does.
It's a good thing that he's out because he said Iran was not a threat.
Iran, well, according to Trump in June, remember when he first got in office? And out the blue, they bombed Iran, and then he bragged about it. Him and Pete, his own mama, says he's trash, Hexel, saying that we have neutralized their nuclear capabilities. It's gone. It's destroyed.
What's going on? I hope that you are enjoying this episode, but I wanted to take the time out to ask you to please subscribe to the podcast.
I've noticed that a lot of people are watching but are not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss an episode when it's aired or about to air. And also make sure you go to impelforwardmerch.com. That's impelforwardmerch.com. Grab you something. Now back to the episode.
You know, Trump, how he talked. Okay, all right. Then now all of a sudden, now we got to go over there because they got nuclear. I thought you told us that when you bombed them in the summer, that it was over. But there was reports that nothing actually happened, and the bomb that they used didn't even penetrate deep into the where they were trying to the target. It didn't even get to it. And they were saying it was fake news. That's what Trump and his people were saying. And Caroline Lovett was saying that, hey, no, that's fake news.
They need to send her over there, too. They need to get all them little January 6 people, Caroline Levitt, Laura Loomer, and send them all over there.
Laura Loomer, yeah. Laura Loomer.
Christine, go ahead, send Christine on. Send her.
Listen.
Don't send all them. Let them fight. Mm-hmm. They got it. They got it.
I just wonder how long the war will last. Some people saying 6 weeks, but how do you know how long that?
According to the president, they have demolished everything from all the leaders to all their military, their army, their air force. I didn't know they had an army. He said that in his latest text message before he lambasted NATO from not joining or helping. He said that in the same message that the United States have demolished all these things, their military.
If they did all of that, why does he need help?
My point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, Jesus Christ, how long does this incompetence how long can this last?
So are we in trouble? Is the U.S. in trouble?
I don't know, man. I think Iran, man. I think a lot of those countries look at when you say we, I always think of we. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know, but I do know that the Iran government and the Iran people. I'm not saying that they're really cozy to us, but they have made comments about how we know how the U.S. treats you guys, and we don't think it's right. You know, obviously, when Ayatollah at the time when they did the regime change in 1979, when they released those black hostages. So, and they released them with a statement stating that, we know how the U.S. treats you guys. We're not going to perpetuate that. And so they released the black hostages. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe there's a little kinship that we can deal with. I don't know.
So what do you
will they go ahead? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, if you're asking, will they have a sleeper cell and they want to bring harm? Will they bring harm in the middle of Baltimore, or will it be in the middle of Iowa? Mm-hmm. That we don't know.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I heard something about California.
Well, they put California on notice because those drones that they've been using, that they were afraid that some of those drones will start to hit targets in California because it's closer for them crossing over the Pacific. So, I mean, I don't know how true that is. Nothing happened, but I do know that California, they put California on high alert for whatever reason. Right. So we got all this going on, and still, I did not know it was a partial shutdown with these TSA workers, with these airplane lines. I mean, with these lines that are in the airports. I did not realize that until about 2 days ago.
Yeah, it seemed like I heard something about it a couple of days ago about the shutdown, but I don't think it's been talked about much though.
It has not been talked about because of the war. And you know what else ain't been talked about is these Epstein things, which is egregious in its own, just egregious in general. And you look at it and you're like, well, the evidence is right there. No one prosecuted it because, we know why.
Yeah, it's not.
There's enough evidence there to prosecute these people, especially the stuff they got on Trump and these girls and, the interviews, and the DOJ said they didn't decide to press charges on these people. Man, it's just You know,
so it's a lot of people.
It makes me believe. Go ahead.
There's a lot of people saying that they really don't have anything on Trump when it comes to those Epstein files. I've seen different people come out and say that.
People that actually saw the files?
It was some people like I can't name no names, but I mean, I ain't talking about no locals like us. I'm talking about. But
no, it is so much, and it's again they only reading or from the files, and I've seen plenty enough evidence on everybody.
What they keep going back to was,
listen, so there's a reason why other country leaders are being arrested and being, and so they are guilty, but the people here that's in Trump, who's been mentioned over 4,000 times, is not. You get what I'm saying?
What a lot of people keep going back to was when he called the FBI on Epstein. So I guess that's what they've gone.
He only called him on Epstein because Epstein pissed him off because Epstein went and bought this property from up under his nose. Mm-hmm. That Trump was looking to buy this property. He told he brought Epstein. No, wait a minute. No,
I think Clinton defended Trump too on that, if I can recall.
He in the deposition when he was being deposed, him and Hillary. He said something, and I don't know what to make of that. I mean, it's not like they were over there at the same time. I mean, you have to take.
Or were they?
Right, they wasn't at the same time, and why would they be there at the same time? And why would you know what I mean? It's like, let me tell you something, man. These people will take care of each other. They will, because you have to remember, after the Civil War, when all of these Confederate generals and all these leaders within the Confederate, they were considered treason. And they lost their rights to be citizens in the sense of treasonous, where they couldn't hold public office. They couldn't do this, and that. And shit, with a swipe of a pen, Andrew Jackson gave them all their rights back. So don't tell me they don't protect each other. And we're seeing it in the Epstein files. There is enough evidence there to prosecute these people, from Larry Summers, all these people. There's enough. How you know that? Because they're doing it in the other countries with the other people that were implicated in the Epstein.
Is America weak? That's why we're not getting help. Why should they help us and we're not even helping ourselves?
Speaking of help, Renee, did you hear what Mark Lamont Hill said?
No, what did he say?
He said he's not rooting for the U.S. That's the clip I saw.
He's not rooting for it.
The way it sets up, the war. Yeah, the way it sets up, Renee, Joe Budden was asking him a question, but he posed it in form of how we talk to each other. He said, look, if my man's was at the club and we know that, and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, you with your man's, he's at the club, and in so many words, you might have said, hey man, let that ride, don't let that go. And he decides not to. He decides to start a whole fight in the club. Well, because that's my boy, right or wrong, I got to ride for him. And so I got to ride for him. Even though I asked him not to do it, he still did it. But because this is my man's, I got to ride for him now. And he framed that question to Mark Lamont Hill like, the U.S. is with Trump. He started it. So now we got to support him because that's our people. And Lamont took a minute before he said something. And then the way he looked, Joe asked him, he was like, so you want the U.S. to lose? And he was like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because I know where he's coming from, and I know why Mark, I know why he said it. I understand because I understand him and his politics. So I know exactly what, that's why when I saw it, I was like, oh, let me watch where he answered this because I know him. And he just said no. Because at the end of the day, if we frame it the same way, your homeboy's in the club, he's always starting mess with everybody. Everybody knows it. He's only starting mess because he has the power of his homeboys behind him. And so as a result, some of these other homeboys are going to end up catching charges because of something he's doing.
Right. Or will be alive.
Right. Right. And so when you get smart, you're with this homeboy, but sometimes this one time you let him get his ass whooped. And that's what Mark is saying. He was like, no. He's always starting mess. he needs to get this work. And we still gonna be boys, but he needs a piece of humble pie because he's putting us all in jeopardy at this point.
Yes. And the crazy part is people like that have less to lose.
That's why they started yes.
No.
But I want us to win because if we lose, it might be some bad, you know.
How worse can it get?
How worse can it get?
I don't know.
Think about it. What happened?
I don't know.
We've been peaceful this whole time, and all of a sudden, your bully homeboy then bullied you into do something to another country that ain't did nothing to us.
And now you not riding for him. Now you gotta, now you're gonna be looked at as weak. No. Whether the U.S. ends this war with Iran or not, everybody in the country sees how weak the U.S. really is.
Right.
With all this talk and this bluster about we have the greatest military, we this and we're that, albeit that may have some validity because of the amount of money we spend on our military might, the execution is what's bad. You can have all the military might you want, but if your execution is flawed and is led by incompetent leaders and incompetent generals, it's going to take all that. You got all of that. It's like it's like you having your team as the Washington Generals and you're playing against the Harlem Globetrotters. They got all the talent in the world to beat the Washington Generals. But if they don't play together and they don't play, the other team can actually take them over because they're not playing together. They got all the talent.
Also, are they going to give 110%? Because you put me in this situation. Even though I'm in the Army or whatever, again, you put us in this situation. Now,
and at some point,
now I got to go over there and fight, and they didn't do nothing to us. So what am I fighting for?
Because your man has a Napoleon type of, and he has nothing to lose.
Then because you removed some of the people that was overweight, they could have been sharp shooters or whatever. Then you got rid of, the transgenders or whatever. And you got rid of other people.
They got rid of a lot of women. They got rid of a lot of
women that were, in high positions who were, ready to ride.
And they canceled a lot of their partnerships that they had with HBCUs, where they will go and recruit at these HBCUs.
The ROTC programs.
And they canceled that. And they also passed. Peter's own mama says he trash Hexef also passed this. This, I want to say an executive order, but I'm wrong. It's not an executive order. It's this, let's just say they passed this thing where people with razor bumps had a certain amount of time to clear these things up, or else they will not be able to serve. Well, who suffer from razor bumps? Like
I got a customer who he's going through that right now. And I think he said they only get 1 or 2 times they can write a letter or something to pass it. After that, there's no more. It was something like that, but he going.
It's like, okay, well, at this point,
yeah.
I just want you going with you.
At this point, Leon, that homie that keeps starting mess, that son got 2 of my homeboy got charges on him for a mess that he started. At this point, I'm learning from what happened. I'm gonna let him whoop him.
I just got fired from my new job that was gonna put me and my family in a better position, because I chose to help my homeboy who ain't really got no job and be starting mess at the club.
Right.
These analogies that y'all giving are giving me a flashback. So when I was in prison, right, my homeboy that I caught my charges with, he was already gone. He went into another camp. It was building his new camp, and I wasn't old enough to transfer yet. So by the time I came of age to transfer, my counselor said, "You want to go over here to the new?" And I knew all my homeboys was over there. I was like, "Nah, send me over this way."
Right, because they were gonna have you was gonna catch, because you knew you was gonna catch some jailhouse charges.
Yeah.
Right. You knew what it was.
Uh-huh.
So how you gonna sit here and say you want US to win when you know the situation?
I mean, I do want to win, but I wouldn't leave my homeboys like that. That's just me. I wouldn't do it, but But
you wouldn't, but at some point you gotta let him get that work.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, at some point you gotta let him get that work because now he's gonna be humble. He's gonna leave people alone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just leave. You know.
Man, y'all give me some flashbacks. There's another time when I was at the prison already before he got there, and I was cool with everybody already. He came out now. I go down to the gym. All I see is him with a pool stick with about 30 dudes just coming at him. I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh. You know, after that, I mean, he gained his respect, but yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Yeah.
So I get what Mark is saying. I totally agree. But again, it's going to be the same thing because people going to be fighting and he going to be in his bunker.
Yeah, again, man, the U.S. has lost even contrary to what we don't know, but what most of us do know, they've lost war. They lost the Korean War in 1950. You know, they call it the Forgotten War. That's what they call it. If you Google the Forgotten War, it's going to show 1950s Korean War. They lost that war. And they just wiped that shit right under the mark, right under the covers, never to be talked about again. You know? And like I said, they would have lost without those people fighting the way they were fighting. Had they not dropped those 2 atomic bombs on them, they were losing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at something this week. They was talking about the war, U.S. lost, I think.
I don't know. You know, this war is given very DEI, and I just don't want no parts of it. You know.
DEI.
I don't want no parts of it. They, you know, they can have it. They can have it. You know, just erase that. They don't want black people around anyway. So, you know, I'm be at home chilling.
You just have to think about rooting for. I think what Mark Lamont Hill or people that are like-minded thinking, sometimes you get tired of the bully.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get tired of the bluster because we all had that homeboy that ain't gonna squabble but gonna talk a lot of noise because he has the might of 2 of his homeboys are knockout artists, and everybody knows it, right? That would be our military. That would be in this context our military. People like Trump and Lady Lindsay talk this shit about going to war and all these people, and none of these people in real life will bust a grape in a fruit fight. They will not do it. They've never had. These soft hand Neanderthals have never done anything fist to cuff. They don't know what it is to get in battle and look a man between his eye, and it's just you and him, and it's made the best man win, and it's the might of the man and the size of the dog in that man. They don't know nothing about that. Right. All war is in the United States is white rich man talking, young people dying.
And Mike Johnson running.
That's how they see war. And
I mean, if you look at it, look at the whole what's the John Kent situation, right? You hired this man for his expertise.
Joe Kent.
Mm-hmm. For his expertise.
Uh-huh.
As soon as he gets tired of this and he has a bit of, conscience that says, you know what? You done bullied everybody. I didn't stuck with you the long way. I defended you with the January 6th. I defended you when you were deporting, people. I defended you, did all these things, right? At this point now, I can't defend you no more. I'm out. I can't be with you. And what does he say in return? Well, he wasn't that smart anyway. He was weak on security. But
you hired him. You hired him as a top ranking.
That was the homeboy when he was covering up for you.
But you said he was weak on the thing that you hired him for.
And look, and before he even stepped down, it wasn't no mention of him firing him.
Right.
No, he didn't get to fire him. That's what. Right. When you take that power from a narcissist. That's when he does what he does. When the people quit and he can't fire them, then he gets. That's his way of. Oh, you didn't give me the opportunity to fire you, so I can get some feel good for it. So he just start talking trash about him and attack him personally.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Just a bully.
Yeah, and so I think what a lot of us I'm tired of seeing those people talk so much crap about how bad the United States is when I know who they really are. We all know who they really are. And it's like, man, you would not be talking that crap if you didn't have the military might behind you, because you personally, you not built like that. No. And so even though I'm in this country and I have to support what we do, because we have our men, women, and children, our men and women and children that are here that we have to protect. And plus we have our armed forces people that are going to be in harm's way. You know, I'm even split. I don't mention much about that either. I don't mention much about, man, but if we're putting our troops in harm's way, we're doing this, we're doing that. I'm conflicted as a Black man in America because I have relatives that are serving, right? So I have to care. But I've gotten to the point where it looks like I'm being an asshole when somebody, I have this conversation maybe a week ago, and they were like, well, KP, what you think? I mean, the military been this Iran thing, our military, man, they got our military, man, they've been put in harm's way and this and that. And I said, well, how did they vote? How did the military vote?
That's what I want to know.
I said, oh, you ain't got to worry about it. I'll help you. They voted at 66% for this president. Active military voted at 66% for this president.
Sounds like
I get that. And you know who voted at 64% for this president? Retired military.
They need their own boots on the ground with them too. Go ahead.
So when you ask me about why is there no support for the troops, I do support them. I support what they voted for. Mm-hmm. They voted at 66% for this president, active military duty personnel. Mm-hmm. So I support what they voted for.
I agree. I support what they voted for.
I support them.
Mm-hmm. I say good luck. I ain't never like going. I don't understand how people can go in the army.
Speaking of supporting what we voted for, so in my group chat, and we were talking about this before, one of my old employees was bragging about how they went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle, and they were happy the food was great. Me, because, we have this podcast and we always have to kind of be somewhat in social and be in the know. I respond back with, I asked, why would you go to Roscoe's? They were, huge with supporting MAGA. They had a blow-up doll, they removed one of their most famous meals that's been there for years, which was the Obama, which was my favorite meal when I went, which is 3 wings and a waffle and a side. And so I wanted to know their responses. Well, the one guy's response was like, he didn't know. So I dropped the link in the group chat. So he then he kind of didn't really respond. The guy originally didn't really respond for a while. And then I said, me being the person that I am, no, actually another guy in my group chat said, I'll still eat at Roscoe's. I remember I used to always go there on our way out of town. I don't agree with their political beliefs, but to each their own until you cross that line and violate mine. I responded and said, to think it doesn't affect you personally is the reason we're in this position now, because again, that's one of the main things.
That's a single issue.
The civil rights movement and the creation of DEI, you being a prior felon would have prevented you from being blessed with employment and many second chance programs for others now, specifically Black men, as the system was created to hold you back. But I get it. Once you're in and good, you close the door to others behind you. Ooh, and I said to the other guy, for you to agree with that, because the other guy, the original poster, agreed with his statement of I'll still eat there. For you to agree with that statement while working in, a foreclosure prevention position is diabolical, because you'll still eat there, you'll still support. They're not the only place that makes waffles, chicken and damn waffles. And I mean, they're not that good. They're lackluster anyway. And so he responded, we're talking about food.
Don't be sounding like Trump now.
We're talking about food. I've dedicated my life to keeping people in their homes. And I said, if food is all that takes for you to give money to the ops, that's even worse. That's crazy to me, right? Especially, it would be different if it was, I would say, the only grocery store chain in your area, and you know that they're, support the Trump regime, and you have to shop there. But chicken and waffles are, I mean, everybody serves that, no matter where you go, right? And so somebody said, the original poster said, not me, I've always hated to see people lose their most valuable assets and diminish someone's chance at generational wealth. And I said, well, that's what our current administration is trying to do, and what you're supporting by supporting a restaurant that supports what the current administration is doing. And so another guy in the group says, I'm sorry, but I grew up where 85% of the population didn't like me, and 50% actually called me the N with the hard R. They owned everything and made that the rules. I've already been spending money with the enemy all my life, knowingly and unknowingly. In fact, we all do. Plus, I don't judge the product by its owner. I hold the same position regarding canceling artists and movies over artists, which is crazy to me because I responded, you have 2 daughters. So if you still support R. Kelly and Sean, and you have 2 daughters, that means you really don't care, right? That means you don't, it's the people. I separate the artist from the music. No.
Where R. Kelly come from?
Huh?
He's just using that as a she's injecting R. Kelly.
He's on the string.
Because he said, plus I don't judge the product by its owner. I hold the same position regarding canceling artists and movies over the artists. That's the person. That's you saying, like, having 2 daughters, right? They may not be your biological daughters, but you call them your daughters. You've raised them. And then he says, besides, I believe everyone's belief is their own. I will not ask you out of my life for your beliefs or words alone. And yes, I know the tiniest bug in Africa can have an effect on me here in the US, but I can't change up my life for every little thing that may affect it or what's the populace against today. I am my own man with my own disagreements, and I handle them in the way that I see fit. If someone wants to show that by boycott and protest, then more powers to them. That's their right. But the minute one starts telling me I have to follow suit or I'm not down, wrong, or don't know what's going on, then that's imposing their beliefs on me, which will automatically get them the opposite. Respecting one's right to protest comes with the respect of one's right not to. We don't have to disagree, but never assume that because someone doesn't follow your path for justice, that they don't feel you or agree, that they handle things a different way. And even if they do disagree, the very rights given that allow for boycotting and expressing one's beliefs are the very rights the other have side. I 100 want to keep people in their homes and get them into their homes, and that's regardless of their social level or beliefs.
Y'all was having a real dialogue on that chat, bro.
So the one, so crazy enough, another person in my group, and she's of white descent. She says, I'm willing, we talked about, I am willing to help people stay in their homes and keep their generational wealth as long as they understand their responsibility in the situation. I try to support local and family owned and businesses that align with my personal beliefs. I am sure I do not get it right 100% of the time, but I give it my best effort and try to educate when given an opportunity. And then she put, I have cut off family and friends over their support of the current administration. Access to me and my family is not freely given to people who would stand across from me when civil war comes.
So
that's amazing that the non-melanated person had a bigger stance and a bigger understanding than our brothers. Y'all got to remember, listen, 2 out of 10 voted for Trump at 80.
Yes.
They voted 80%. So you have to understand, if you're in a room with 10 brothers, 2 of them voted for him.
Right.
You always got to understand that. And Renee, after listen to that, it's the same thing I've always come to that Leon won't let me do a series on, and it's called Slaves Without Masters.
Yes.
Man, I've been wanting to get in people's ass about this slave. A lot of us are slaves without masters.
Wait,
These single issue voters. Today I saw a whole bunch of us wearing a whole bunch of St. Patrick stuff.
Yes.
Did you say I won't let you do a series on?
You ain't gonna let me do that series of Slave Without Masters.
We got.
So
we got to look
part
over.
of me feels, because the one person who had the, I separate the artist and movie. I think because he's, or maybe my thought process is because he grew up, as you said, hearing being called the N with the hard R, and also
because I didn't understand.
I think, where he lived, he grew up in Ohio, but also he was in prison for, I want to say, maybe 10 years, if not less than that.
Yeah, but that's not growing up. Because if he's in prison, he's already of age. So I'm trying to understand.
But you go in prison the same age, one age, and you come out that same age.
No. When he said that he grow up, you don't, okay, let me frame it better. I am taking, when he said he grew up, I'm thinking adolescence. I'm thinking up until 17 when you can be convicted as an adult.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it that I'm trying to understand the 85. He said he grew up in the 85% of what? And then he said 50% of them call me the N-word with the ER. I did not understand.
What's going on? I hope that you are enjoying this episode, but I wanted to take the time out to ask you to please subscribe to the podcast. I've noticed that a lot of people are watching but are not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss an episode when it's aired or about to air. And also make sure you go to impelforwardmerch.com. That's impelforwardmerch.com. Grab you something. Now back to the episode.
The context in which he's framing. Was it that
he grew up? I'm sorry, but I grew up where 85% of the population didn't like me, and 50% actually called me the N with the hard R.
So is the 85% representing our community or another community? Is the 50%?
I don't know, because he grew up in Ohio, so I'm gonna assume maybe.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to run. Some of the stuff I understand that I could respect of what them saying. They said, hey, I can separate the artists. I get what you're saying, Renee, and I don't disagree with you. Some of the stuff that the stance that they were making, but I always have a problem with single issue voters. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with single issue people. It's like you said, it's like you got yours, now you're gonna close the door behind you. I don't. We come from a people of, we're a collective people, and we're not individuals. And so we can be individual in our own right, but in order for us to move forward, we have to move forward collectively. We cannot. One person cannot beat an institution. You have to move in a collective manner, meaning that if my taxes are higher at the income that I make, and if it provided a chance for family members that have not, or friends that have not ascertained that type of money, and it gives them a cut and it gives them a better life, I'm forward, because I'm not individually thinking, I'm thinking for the collective. Right. More will get help if I'm taxed at a higher rate than if I got a tax break, then more would be hurt.
Exactly.
And that's the premise in which I come from. So when I hear people moving in an individual tone, I kind of tone them out.
Yeah.
And because if you keep listening to them and they keep talking, you're going to find out they're slaves without masters. Now, I'm not saying that these people are, but they're moving with the cadence of the people that do.
Yes. So crazy you say that. I said, because in a different chat, I said, he has some internal healing he needs to deal with, but I will give him grace as he grew up in a new slavery era. Because that's what I got from that. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean by slaves without masters. It's exactly what you just said. A new slavery era, which is the mental.
Yes.
Like I said, if you mentally know who you are and where you come from, there's no way you are agreeing on St. Patrick's Day. You don't celebrate that. right?
Or there's no way,
Say,
it's like, well, because they've been calling me the hard R my whole life. I'm just gonna accept it now that I'm a grown man and I can be able to make my own decisions. You get what I mean? So it's like you're willingly accepting being treated how you known to be treated. You don't want to turn it around. You get what I'm saying?
You read a lot there, but did I didn't catch? Did he know that before he went to the restaurant?
No, but when I dropped it in the chat, he didn't care. He was just like, "I'll still eat there.
Okay,
I'll still support. I don't care, about their political beliefs." So,
because I sure went there in 24, I think 25, but I ain't know them. Nah, we ain't know.
What I'm saying is, when you know better, you do better, right?
Yeah, when you told us this behind the camera, I was like, huh? I ain't never heard it.
But it's crazy that the non-melanated one at all, you know what I mean? She got it. Right. But she probably goes through a lot of different things. She's married to a black man. She's been married to him for over 27 years.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Kids, has a daughter. But her family grew up, I don't want to, we didn't have his, but her, her family, Oregon's liberal. You get what I'm saying? So she know what it is. But it's crazy to me to experience someone who is okay with turning a blind eye unless it directly affects him. But
unfortunately, you have a lot of people that are like that. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people who are not as aware, and they don't understand that their actions makes it harder for people that are out there that's doing the fighting.
Yeah.
They don't understand that because they're only concerned about an audience of one.
Yes,
I get it I don't begrudge them for that entirely. I just say that's a person that probably needs a little bit more education.
Yes.
And with the proper education, and what I mean proper education, I don't mean me turning into like this person that's beating people over the head with education. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about education through conversation.
Yes.
And also education through, hey, this is how I lead my life. This is how I move. And they might be, you know what, brother, I like that. I see that we can move in a system of I do not support this. I do not support this. And I'm still living my life. I still get the goods I need, and I still do the things that I need to do.
Also, and then I have to take a step back. What I know of is that I don't think there's a strong support system of black men around for him to kind of understand.
That does call.
And I think that plays a major role with both of them, right? That was in the chat, and that's kind of the most. It's very concerning, right? Because again, when you look at the Civil War, as my homegirl, my bestie said in the chat, like, I don't want you around if you're gonna be across from me in the Civil War. And that whole thing, but it was just shocking to me to know someone that is just so one-sided. But again, you the oppressors will get you all the time. You would have thought he was Latino for a minute, but
slaves without masters.
Slaves without masters, and they don't even know it. I'm gonna continue. Fight the good fight.
Don't you got some more to add to that?
Some more to add on to this?
Some more to add. What did I say? Some more?
Some more to add to this?
Yeah. Was there another response?
There was another response from some Asian.
Do tell about that.
And she's kind of very diplomatic. She's very she's not so much in the know as one would be.
Okay.
I'm trying to find her response. She just said, I have enjoyed getting people out of I've enjoyed getting saving people within their homes for 20 years and out of trouble if they can or can't afford it. But now, hey, I got my real estate license. I'll be helping people get a home and create generational wealth. So, like I said, she's not really in the weeds as my other friend, my other bestie in the group. But it's crazy to see the fact of, remember when I brought up, like, when you're in the barbershop, a lot of Black men, they speak as if like Charlie Kirk and don't even realize it.
If they're not, if you just sit back and listen, you can hear some of that.
And that's kind of where, you know what I mean? It wasn't directly, as bad, but it sounds as if he can be pulled into that easily because he turns a blind eye to everything. You're throwing your beliefs on me, so I'm going to do the opposite. No, these aren't beliefs. These are facts. Beliefs are something that, I believe that if you go down the street, and you go to that stoplight, you're going to get hit by a car. No, a fact is that stoplight down there is very dangerous and the light doesn't work and you will get hit by a car because 7 other people got hit by a car last week. Here is the data. But those facts you're presenting do not supersede people's feelings. No. You have to that's the problem. And you're right, that barbershop talk, and you said something very key, that those people can be persuaded and pulled over into that other direction, which is why we had 20% of Black men voted for Trump. Because Frederick Douglass said, once a man learned to read, it is impossible for you to enslave him. Now, Frederick Douglass wasn't saying that as it was, he was speaking metaphorically, and that means it was enslaved in your mind. Yes. And once you learn who you are and who you're supposed to be, you can't be persuaded or knocked off your square. It becomes impossible for that to happen. And again, when you're like we say, what we used to say in the streets, if you're weak, you beat. Yeah. If you're weak, you beat, and then you end up being a slave without a master. Right. It's crazy, the whole, separating the people who don't separate the artist from the person, right? So I just saw an article on Mystical. Remember the rapper Mystical?
Yes.
I can't unsee it. I can't listen to another one of his songs. This man did that, got out of jail.
Did it again.
And did it again. There's no way. Now, if he got out of jail, let's say Chris Brown, right? With that whole situation, how he, he's tried to, really change his life around. He's been in trouble. There's, whatever. This man turned around. He wasn't even out of jail for 2 to 3 years.
Yes, I get it. KP, I got a story about Mystical. True story.
It's your homeboy.
Y'all supposed to say, hey, we want to hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear it. I'm listening.
Lord.
I was living in Baton Rouge, and I was living in this apartment complex called Cobblestone. Mm-hmm. And I remember living there, and I remember some of my neighbors was like, yeah, man, Mystical messed with this chick back up in there. You'll see his Jaguar going back and forth, and you'll see him. He bought the little kid. The girl that he was messing with bought the son like a little mini bike. And every now and then you can see Mystical. I've never seen him with it, but they was like, yeah, man, times he's with the little kid riding the little motorbike through here. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. Well, I was in a position where I was with the person that I was dating later to marry. And at this point I had given my life to Christ. And of course, this has no dealings with the story, but it does. And there was this particular young lady that I was interested in. We have never dated or anything like that, but I was cutting off communication because at this point, I was like, I don't want this to go any further because I'm about to give my life to Christ. And I shouldn't be having, even though it was just conversation, I should not be having these conversations. So I was calling this person to cut the communication. Well, the conversation ran a little longer than it should have. So as I'm pulling in my apartment complex, I can't park in my way because the person I was seeing with was seeing at the time, they were there. So I rode to the back part. And I parked my car next. So at the time, I owned like a white Lexus. And I parked right alongside the same type of Lexus, but it was the champagne colored one. And I'm on the phone trying to tell this person, listen, even though we never dated, we never went, I cannot continue these conversations because this is not right. And this person was, like, hey, but this, I was like, no. So I'm on the phone. Next thing I know, this Jaguar, he had a convertible Jaguar, pulls up behind me and this other car, blocks us in.
And say, watch yourself.
And at this point, I'm like, it didn't register to me. And then I see the guy get out the car, walk in between us and walk up the stairs to this apartment. And as they walk, and I look and I see the car, say, oh man, that's mystical. That's his Jaguar, because he was the only one at the time had that convertible type Jaguar. So I'm on the phone, and then I notice he comes down the stairs. He has a knife. He takes this knife and poof, poof, he flat this girl all her tires. And I'm sitting here watching this. And I'm saying, oh my God, I can't believe Mystical just flat this girl tires. And then he jumps in his Jaguar and he rides out. And that's the end of the story. I don't know if he ended up fixing her tires or not, but I remember witnessing that. And I thought that was crazy. So that's a proclivity to be crazy about a woman.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say.
It's his character then.
Yeah,
man. He flat that girl tires for real, right on side of me. I'm sitting in my car. Of course, he didn't see me. I'm on the phone, but yeah, I witnessed that. I saw that.
Bound to happen. But yeah, I can't support that. I'm sorry.
Well, no. Not the things that he did. I mean, he got out and told the girl because he owed money, made the girl do, I don't want to get into it, what he made the girl do, but, for the second time, not her for the second time, but
yeah,
different, So
no, the second time he held the girl hostage in his house.
Yeah, and made her, yeah, exactly. So he already, like I said, I saw it then. I saw it that he had he wasn't right.
He wasn't right.
So,
nope.
Yep. Well, anything we forget, leave out? Anything y'all want to end off with?
No.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the war.
Stay tuned for the war, man. Let's see who's going to win this. See who's going to win this thing. If there's ever such a winner. Remember, in war, there is sometimes like Jacob. Sometimes Jacob Rudders says sometimes and sometimes there are no heroes. Sometimes there are no good guys. In some stories, there are no good guys. And in this story, there is no good guy. Mm-hmm. So you have Iran, they are who they are, and then you have the US and Israel, it's for me, it's not, I don't want to support any of it because I don't. So yeah. It is what it is. I'm gonna sit back and watch the sparks fly.
I'm covered by the blood of Jesus.
Come on now.
That's all.
There was this guy real quick. There's this guy that predicted this, and he missed it by a month. In 2012, this guy
by the Asian man?
Huh?
Is it the Asian man?
No, he wasn't Asian. It's an Anglo man. He predicted. Obviously, if you go back to the quatrains of Nostradamus. But we're not going to get into that. Nostradamus predicted a lot of it, predicted Trump. But this guy by the name of, I think his name is Chris Bledsoe, did an interview in 2012. I think his name is Chris Bledsoe. And for the sake of shortness, basically he predicted in 2026 that the war, that there will be missiles exchange between Israel and US and Iran. He predicted this in 2012. And he also goes into, you have to understand that he also says what is going to happen is some good is actually going to come by, because they said now at this point, these orbs are going to raise up out of the ocean and do whatever, right? Because they talk about where we are in the calendar of the year, whether we're in the Pisces or we're in the Aquarius. And so we're exiting the Pisces era and going into Aquarius. And Aquarius symbolizes, huh?
Are we? Because Aquarius is before Pisces.
Listen, remember, they go counterclockwise.
Oh, okay.
Clockwise. Yeah, mm-hmm. I know. I had to learn that part too.
Okay.
Because it don't make sense, right?
Right.
So they go counterclockwise when it, in terms of in the Greek or whatever. So they saying that this is the era where we're entering into the Aquarius area. I think it was in 2024 when Cat Williams lit the world on fire and exposed the truth, because Aquarius simply means bringing in the truth. A lot of things that we were not privy to, we're going to start to learn. Basically what Aquarius, going into the Aquarius season, means that the veil is lifted. And with the veil being lifted, we're going to be able to understand and see the things that we thought was conspiracies are now true. Let me tell you why I can kind of get with some of that. Like I said, I think the Cat Williams part, but what I always say about she one of the ones who don't believe in conspiracy theories. Most of the time, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, yeah, but the Aquarius season that the world is supposed to enter in is going to be the lifting of the veil, and it's going to be nothing but truths. And the people and the oligarchs that have been keeping us suppressed with the news of things are not being true will no longer be able to do it in the moment of Aquarius. And so if you think about the Epstein files, years ago, we heard about Pizzagate, and they running a child pedophile out of the Pizzagate. We heard about people eating babies. We heard about this island where girls were being molested and all this stuff. And we like, yeah, really, if that was happening, they'll be arrested. And so we cast that down. We hear about the Pizzagate. We hear about the child pedophile rings. We cast it down as conspiracy. Well, lo and behold, the Epstein files prove that there is a rich oligarch by the name of, that is ushered in through Jeffrey Epstein, who has no talent. He doesn't. You couldn't tell me what Jeffrey Epstein was. He was not a real estate tycoon. He wasn't an investor. He wasn't none of that. He was just a person that was put in place by rich people to get rich people to come in so that they can get the dirt on them, and so that they can use that to blackmail them to get them to do the things that they needed to be done. Years ago, I wouldn't have believed that, but the Epstein files proved that all the things that we thought was crazy, it actually was true. Mm-hmm. And so now the veil is being lifted. And so that's interesting. Maybe that's another podcast where we talk about the Notre Dames and the predictions or the conspiracies. I don't know, but I just wanted to touch on that, but that there could be some good that comes out of this, because this guy predicted it. He said it would happen in April. He said April of 2026, Iran, United States and Israel will exchange missiles with Iran. At the time, 2012, Obama was in office. We had the deal in place. Wasn't nobody about to exchange weapons, right? Exchange bombs. But lo and behold, the U.S. exchanged bombs with Iran. He said in April of 2026. It just so happened to be March.
Wow.
So, just worth a look. Any of the people out there that want to know.
But again, we're covered in the blood of Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you do understand that this war, at first they said it was regime change. Now they're saying, all these evangelicals are saying that this war is to help usher in the rapture. And that's why they're supporting it. They're finding dumbass ways to support anything. And they're talking about because the book talks about all the Jews have to be in Israel for Jesus to come back. And there has to be war that started in the Middle East, and it brings in the rapture, and the good Lord Jesus is coming back. I say, you know what? Y'all want to be with Jesus so bad. Why all y'all just go walk into the ocean?
I'm a saint that walks by the beat of her own drum.
I am saying if they want to be with Jesus so bad, go play in traffic.
In this.
Well, that's it for the Forward Social Conversations. Until next time, we will see you. Peace.